Today, I want to talk about the downfall of Blackpink, and yeah, that's a strong word, but when you go from selling out stadiums, being the biggest girl group in the world, and having a fan base that would defend you no matter what, to now, where Blackpink announces a comeback and it's met with eye rolls, exhaustion, and flat-out indifference, something definitely shifted. We're talking about a group that once dominated not only the K-pop scene but pop culture itself. Blackpink was everywhere, selling out stadiums, setting YouTube records, walking Chanel runways, and being praised as global trendsetters. Their fan base, Blinks, was one of the most loyal and passionate fandoms in the industry. You couldn't say a thing about Blackpink without a battalion of fans showing up in the comments to defend them. In 2025, Blackpink announced a comeback, and for the first time in their career, it felt like no one cared. The comments weren't filled with excitement, they were filled with exhaustion, shrugs, people saying things like, "Oh, they're back again." Even longtime fans seem uncertain. So how did we go from global dominance to global indifference? Let's go back to where it all started. The beginning. Blackpink debuted in August of 2016 under YG Entertainment, one of the most powerful K-pop companies at the time. They were introduced as underdogs. From day one they were premium product, with the success of 2NE1 still lingering in the air. Blackpink was marketed as Wig's next powerhouse girl group, polished, stylish, and cool in a way that felt more Western than the average K-pop group at the time. As much as possible, their debut songs, Boombaya and Whistle, weren't just good, they were explosive. In a sea of bubbly and color for girl groups, Blackpink had edge, they have charisma, they had that YG flavor, gritty beats, chic visuals, and fierce choreography. It felt like they weren't trying to fit into K-pop, it felt as if they were trying to redefine it. They quickly became global favorites. The visuals, their fashion, and their charisma, it was all undeniable. They became a household name, without even a full album. Every comeback was a massive deal, with fans counting down the seconds. But even then something fell a little off. It was evident that they didn't release much music. Compared to their peers, Blackpink, discography was minuscule. No mini albums, no repackages, just a few songs at a time. It didn't seem like much at first. The quality was so high that people gave them a pass. But as the years flew, that pattern would come back to haunt them, and it wasn't long before people started asking the question, do Blackpink actually want to be idols, or is this just a stepping stone for something else? Early signs of trouble. 2018-2021. Here's the thing started to get shakier. Between 2018 and 2021, the hype around Blackpink only grew, but the content didn't. Wow, other groups were releasing full-length albums and consistently putting out behind-the-scenes footage and touring consistently. Blackpink felt like ghosts. They'd drop a single, maybe a music video, do a handful of stages and then advantage for months, or even a year. San started to joke about how Blackpink only came back once every pink moon, but eventually the jokes turned into frustration. Being a fan started to feel like waiting at a bus stop for something that might never come. And then came the solos. Jennie released Solo in 2018, and it was a massive success. But the solo era unintentionally opened up a divide. Instead of building excitement around all four members, it created a competition. Fandoms started forming around an individual member. The discussion shifted from Blackpink as a group to Jennie versus Lisa versus Jisoo versus Rose. It turned into who had the best vocals, who had the best visuals, who shined more online discography, who deserved more lines. The problem wasn't solos, it was how they were staggered out over years. Lisa's solo came out in 2021, Rose's came out earlier in that same year. Jisoo's didn't drop until 2023. The group felt more like a collection of four influencers than a cohesive unit, and the problem is that cohesion is what originally made people fall in love with the group. The drama. 2021-2024. Now we need to talk about the drama. I'm not going to get too deep into every detail, but these things do matter. They changed how people viewed Blackpink, and they broke the fandom. Let's start with the lazy dancing controversy. Jennie was accused multiple times of not putting effort into her choreography, especially during the Born Pink tour. Clips went viral of her looking less energetic than the others, and the backlash was brutal. But then something unexpected happened. The fandom turned on itself. Some Blinks defended her, saying she was tired, overworked, or just performing with a different energy. Others felt betrayed, saying, "You're on a world tour. People paid for this." It became a civil war within the fandom. And then there were the dating rumors. Lisa was linked to Fardy Rick Arnaud, Yes, that billionaire CEO's son. Jennie was rumored to be dating V from BTS, and the internet lost its mind. Not because idols were dating, fans have mostly chilled out about that, but because the group's image started to look more like celebrity socialites than musicians. Instead of talking about music, people were talking about yacht parties, runway shows, and Paris Fashion Week appearances. The general public felt like Blackpink had checked out. They weren't performers anymore. They were influencers who occasionally did music. Present day. Now in 2025, the energy has shifted completely. Blackpink announced a comeback, and nobody really cared. Lisa released a solo album this year, and it was poorly received and heavily critiqued. Critically and publicly, it was seen as overwhelming. The production felt half-baked and many fans admitted to only listening once. Jennie to this day is still getting critique for her lazy dancing. Even when she tries to push forward, people have been relentless. The internet has become a bit of a graveyard, so for there. Most blinks are tired of defending the group, tired of waiting, and wondering if Blackpink even cares about Blackpink anymore. So, yeah, in my personal opinion, I don't think Blackpink is necessarily flopping. I just think their future success is going to come more from being individual artists, soloists who are good friends, rather than a group that, honestly, doesn't really mesh well together anymore. And before you say anything, yes, of course they're always going to have fans. And technically still are one of the biggest K-pop groups, but in the grand scheme of things, I don't think people really care about Blackpink as a group anymore. And that's because, well, it seems like they don't care either.